Prison sexual abuse advocate dies before her own case is heard. Her name is Sierra Johnson. She fought tirelessly for victims of sexual abuse in New York prisons. She's died. This as she awaited her own lawsuit to be heard. Sierra Johnson, a Native American woman who sued the state of New York in 2023, alleging she was repeatedly sexually assaulted by prison staff while held in two different upstate prisons. Phone journalist Jesse Edwards of New York Focus from her hospital bed in Burlington, Vermont. Johnson, age 36, diagnosed with end-stage heart failure. She told Edwards she wanted to speak up for the roughly 1,600 women who sued the state in 2023 under the Adult Survivors Act, alleging they were sexually assaulted in state prisons. Say more about her. Resident of Mohawk Nation, acquiescent apologies, because I want to get it right, because this is not just an advocate, but a leader, a strong, resilient woman. Periodically, she apologized for anxiety, emotions. When asked if she wanted to stop or take a break during the interview, one of her last ones, she refused. This is something that is empowering me to continue to live, she said. A few weeks later, New York Focus published Johnson's story as part of an ongoing investigative series supported by the Fund for Investigative Journalism, reported in partnership with Hell Gate. What I want from this is that no matter what, we are treated as human beings, given the right to safety, the right to exist, Johnson told the reporter, Jesse Edwards. Johnson never got to read the story. Late September, her attorneys informed us, says Edwards, she had passed away on June 13, 6 days before the article was published. Johnson's attorney, Sonia Al-Haddad, said the firm spoke with Johnson the day before she died and that she told them she was going to have to move as smoke from the Canada wildfires was affecting her health. Johnson lived close to the Canadian border in the territory. She was a mental health and wellness worker for the Mohawk Council till she got too sick to perform her duties. I was trying to reach her to talk about her lawsuit for the past couple of months, but I didn't get concerned until a few weeks ago because the messages were still going through to her phone, attorney said. Sometimes Miss Johnson would go MIA due to her health issues. She'd move to her mother's house so she could take care of her. We figured she was going to be out of touch with us for a while. When Al-Haddad, the attorney, tried phoning her again in late September, the call didn't go through. She checked death notices and found an obituary for Johnson online. October 7th, her attorneys formally informed the court and the state of her death. Johnson's lawsuit will continue. If it succeeds, any damages will be awarded to her estate, of which her teenage daughter is a beneficiary. Hell Gate and New York Focus could not immediately reach Johnson's next of kin for comment. Johnson alleged she was groped, sexually assaulted, sexually abused by a prison doctor, 3 guards while incarcerated in New York prisons in 2014 and 2017. One of the guards, correction officer David Stupnick, was arrested and imprisoned in 2020 for a criminal sex act with another incarcerated woman. At least 20 women have filed lawsuits under the Adult Survivors Act, alleging Stupnick sexually assaulted them. At least 20 women. How many women does it take to stand up against one disgusting, abusive man to be believed? That's my question. Johnson's story highlighted the lengthy process survivors of sexual assault are facing due to Attorney General Letitia James's hardline approach to the litigation. Attorneys estimate the state cases could take up to a decade to see a resolution, even as some women who sued the city of New York in 2023 claiming sexual abuse at city jails already in settlement negotiations. Johnson's attorneys applied for her case to be expedited due to her heart condition, but Aladad said the suit had hit a wall before Johnson died due to the attorney general's insistence that it needed more information to identify two alleged abusers whose names she did not know. Despite Johnson providing their job titles, shift information, narrow employment periods, race, approximate ages, hair color, facial features, and build, they're refusing to provide us with records that could help in that search. As we said, her lawsuit will continue. I want to start with Letitia James, if you allow, Jamie.
Yeah.
She may not be the focus, but I don't get to denounce your wrongful indictment over here and ignore this on the other side.
Yeah.
I would think the Attorney General of New York, who has this way of speaking to camera that would send chills up one's spines, at least mine, would want to know and could find out. She's dogged in her approach. Who allegedly did this? She could find out and not be obstructed as she gathered that evidence if she wanted to. This country believes, and I can say that, I hate casting a broad brush, but I think I can say this, Jamie. This country has a way of believing that anyone who the cuffs are slapped on must have deserved it. So we kind of look
Right.
away to the other stuff that happens to them once they're behind bars. It's really disgusting knowing all we know about who's there, why, who should be here, who doesn't deserve it. And oh, yeah, even if they did, who the hell are you to have this state sanctioned conduct? Is it not state sanctioned? It goes on so much. How many women before this stops? Men too, but this is focusing on so many women who have come forward. What say you?
Well, for the record, whatever word that we were wrestling over in the beginning, I did not actually see it. It sounded like the word I said, but unfortunately, there is a phenomenon that exists with people of color. I think we saw it with Kamala Harris when she was Attorney General, and now it appears to be Letitia James. I don't know about her prosecutorial record overall, I will say, but it seems that some of us believe we have to overcompensate to be like, see, I'm supposed to be here. I'm one of the good ones. So you all can engage in whatever state sanctioned criminality you were going in because I'm a good guy just like you all. So we see this with sometimes people of color who are law enforcement. Sometimes it's a black cop beating up on a black
Yeah.
victim. And it's not all of them. I don't even know if it's the majority of them. I hope it's not the majority of them, but there is a phenomenon where there's some of us that get inside and we pull the ladder up behind us. Like Clarence Thomas. I'm not calling Letitia James Clarence Thomas, but this makes me suspicious about her conduct elsewhere. Unfortunately, not a lot of sympathy or attention is given to people who are a part of the prison population in this country. That's because people think, well, they committed a crime, you hope. Sometimes there are many in there who have not, who haven't even been convicted yet, maybe not in prison, but in jail. And such atrocities occur. I happen to work at a county jail, and we, every year or so, maybe every 2 years, there's one of them that winds up dead under mysterious circumstances. Either they allowed two inmates together that had a history of violence and they just kind of looked the other way, or other things like that. But we have to ask ourselves, what kind of country do we want to live in? Okay, I know people commit crimes. Sometimes people commit heinous crimes and they go before a judge and they're sentenced to a sentence. It'd be a time in jail, but that doesn't mean people have a right to sexually abuse them or abuse them physically. We shouldn't want, I don't want to live in a country where we're condoning this level of state violence. And we shouldn't allow for our prison population to be beat up on, stripped to their naked and punched 50 times or sexually harassed. Allow these sexual predators to prey upon this helpless population.
They do it because they can get away with it. And you're
Right.
right. Remember, these human rights are supposed to be especially important for the least among us, right?
Right.
Who can't push back, fight back, stand here, squat, cough, do this, do that. If you want to in America, which would discuss me draft and take it all the way through and make it law, sentencing law, that you can sexually assault people who are convicted or awaiting, or then do that. But if you're not going to have this torture on the books, I don't know why any of us would put up with this. Why is Rikers Island a thing? Why are people being held there, not even adjudicated fully? And this kind of torture, we just say it so often in the news, Diddy was held in the Brooklyn Detention Center, and it was one of the worst in it. Huh? Man, just run the dang institution. Nobody asked you to do this extracurricular criminality. Okay? I don't know. I don't understand it. I'll give you the last word.
Well, I'm writing that down, extracurricular criminality, because that's exactly what it is. You were cooking there. Too many people have the ability to not recognize the humanity in other people. I don't know what happens in some folks' brains that they see other people walking around. They just say, nope, not a person like me. They don't deserve things that I deserve. They deserve worse things than I do. And so whatever happens to them, that's their problem. It has nothing to do with me. And like I said, I recognize that some of these people have committed crimes, but subject to torture by the state. Do we want our government to be people? Do we want our government to be beating up on naked, unarmed men? I don't think so. Not me. Because Lord help me, I'm not a person that's committed any crimes, and nor would I intend to. But they're not. All of these people are not guilty. They have been wrongfully convicted people that have mixed in with the rightly convicted people. So there should be some modicum. There should be some standard that we uphold, because all of them, regardless of their guilty status or not, they're all human beings.
Yeah, you asked the question, do you want your government to be X, Y, Z people, Jamie? I think I heard a resounding yes from some people. Might have been my neighbors. Okay. But I heard it was not just in my mind, although there's voices there that are constantly, I need them to shut up sometimes. Okay.
They teach you in law school never to ask the question that you don't already know the answer to. And I guess I failed there, because
I heard
there
that.
probably would be some people who say absolutely.
They said, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.